Hello and welcome back to another episode of Blush. I'm your host, Hiwa, and I'm joined here today by my co-host, Samantha, and we are so fucking excited to present today's episode to you. Honestly, I'm like half expecting the building to catch on fire or, the whole neighborhood to be go down in an earthquake or something, even though those aren't even common in New York City. But when I tell you, it is like my 5 millionth time trying to record this episode. And every single time I went to record this very here episode, some kind of catastrophe would happen that prevented me from recording it. So I was initially going to release this episode as the first episode in March. It's now coming out literally a month and a half later because all these things kept popping up. So hopefully that won't happen again. But I'm so excited about today's episode. So it's really actually inspired by Persian New Year's, aka Nowruz. So Persian New Year's is also the astrological New Year's, and it happens at the exact moment of the spring equinox. So exactly when the sun enters spring. I don't really know. No, the sun is stationary. The sun isn't moving. The earth? Is it the earth? I don't know. Guys, I'm not an astronomer, as it turns out. No, I believe my understanding is it's something with the position of the sun and the earth that makes it spring, yeah? And only in the northern hemisphere. Okay, I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter, okay? Right when spring starts in the northern hemisphere is when the new astrological year begins. It's also a very important holiday in Persian culture. It's actually the holiday in Persian culture. Think like Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and Rosh Hashanah and New Year's Eve and Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day and Thanksgiving all wrapped into one, and amplify, think like X, a Bollywood movie. That is Nowruz for you, okay? It is a vibe. I remember as a little kid growing up, I was like, oh my God, these American and German kids will never know what Nowruz is like, because it's just the most fun thing ever. In Persian culture, it's all about parties and being together with people. And literally for 1 to 2 months after the New Year's, all you do is go see people and tell them Happy New Year and just gather around each other. But there's a lot of symbolism in it, and there are things that you do leading up to it. There are things that you do during. There are things that you do after. So for example, the last Wednesday of the old year is something we call Çarşamba Suri, and it's this big gathering, and people make a fire, and you're supposed to jump over the fire, and it's to release all the challenges and the negativity of the year and let them burn and let them stay. And then for the actual new year, you have to make this altar. We call it the Haft scene. Haft means 7. Scene means, well, it's a letter S. I say A because in the Persian alphabet, there are actually 3 different S's. Highly confusing. I don't partake in multiple letter culture, so I have picked, there are a few letters that there are multiples of, like T, there are multiples, Z, there are 4 different Z's. And then we have a J sound in Farsi, that there's multiple letters of that. I believe, no, J, maybe there's only 1. H, there's 2 H's. There are a few letters that have multiples of them. I don't partake. I've picked my favorite of those, and those are the ones that I use. I call them the normal one, and everyone else, I'm like, nah, we don't need, why do we need 4 S's? It's just unreasonable. It's not what the fuck am I supposed to do with 4 S's? It might be 3. It might be 2. It might be 2 S's. I don't know. Some there's 4. It doesn't matter. Let's move right along. So one of the S's, the one that I call the normal one, so the altar has 7 things that start with that letter S, and each one symbolizes different things. So there's an apple, there's coins, there's garlic. Garlic symbolizes health and wellness in the new year. You always have a mirror on the altar. That's actually not an S, but it's all about like kind of like shadow work, like really seeing yourself, like really actually holding up a mirror to yourself and your own behavior. And it's, it symbolizes self-development and improvement. There's like goldfish on the altar, like actual live ones in a little bowl situation with water. There's all these various things, right? Where's I going with this? Oh, okay. So one of the things is you're supposed to grow sprouts. And then 2 weeks after the new year is Sizde Bedar. Actually, it's 13 days after the new year because Sizde means 13. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take the weeds that you've been growing that have been sitting on your altar all this time and you throw it into a running body of water. So it can't be stagnant water. It has to be like a river or a canal or something that's actually moving. And you throw it in there and that's like it is supposed to like absorb all the negativity and the challenges and you throw it away into the moving water. It's gone. It leaves you. It's so like Persian New Year's is low-key very blush coded, okay? It's all about food. It's all about gathering. It's all about self-improvement. Like, you guys would fucking love it. Anyway, one of the really big parts of Nowruz is leading up to Nowruz, you're supposed to do khune tekuni, which means, by the way, who thought when they opened the podcast today that it would be like a full lesson on Persian culture? But here we are. So khune tekuni literally translates into shaking up your house. But what it means is like spring cleaning. And so you're supposed to do this full spring cleaning of your house so that your house and your home and your environment and quite frankly, your mindset are energetically ready for the new year. Random tangent, and this is like maybe the longest we've gone without getting into a tangent into the podcast. So last week I talked about Kylie Perkins, that TikToker who talks about cleaning and stuff. So she grew like really, really quickly, right? And excuse me, I had a little cute, dainty little burp. So she made this TikTok the other day doing like unboxing of PR. And she was saying like, thank God I went on this minimalism journey a few years ago, because if not, and I had reached this level, like I wouldn't even know what to do with all this PR. Like I literally wouldn't know where to put it. Like I had to clear that stuff out to have space for all this stuff to come in. And I think that's a really profound statement. And anyone who's gotten like gifting and PR knows like it can be a really cool part of this job. Like it really, really can, but it also can be like the biggest hazard ever because you end up getting so much stuff and you're like, I literally don't know what to do with this stuff. I actually just gave away so much PR this year because there was like a section of my closet that was just PR and it was honestly like 99% sunscreen. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I'm not a sunscreen influencer. Why am I getting so much sunscreen? Like, I don't even wear sunscreen half the time. I'm going to be better about it this summer. Every year I say, I'm going to be better about it. I'm going to be better about it. I'm going to be better about it. I never am. This year I actually plan to be better about it. Maybe I'll use some of these 6 billion tubes of sunscreen that I have. Anyway, so yeah, like what Kylie said, I do think is like so fitting though. And it's something I've talked about in the past. Like you have to have energetic space for things that you want to come in. Like otherwise you're not going to have them. And that's kind of the premise behind the spring cleaning leading up to Nowruz is it's like clear out the old shit. So there's room in your life. There's room in your mind. There's just room energetically for other good things to come in. Anyway, so I don't do the khune tekuni, the spring cleaning every year. I mean, like historically, I really have not just because like a bitch hates to clean and like, quite frankly, I'm a pretty lazy person and, I'm not going to like volunteer to do things that I don't have to do. But this year, because I don't have a depression, all of a sudden I have so much more energy and time and just like interest in doing things. And so I was like, okay, I want to do a proper khune tekuni leading up to Nowruz. So I think I started in my closet, to be honest, which is interesting because I feel like I've redone my closet so many times, but every time it still wasn't like the way that I wanted it to look. Like it was still quite inaccessible. And a lot of it is because of the design of my closet. There are these like really long shelves and I would like stack a bunch of things, but then it was really hard to get something from the bottom of the pile and everything would knock over, yada, yada, yada. So I decided to completely redo it. And I wanted to like narrow it down more. But the problem that I had was every time I do this, I don't give away nearly as much stuff as I would have liked to have given away. And on top of that is like half the time, even when I do give away a lot, like sometimes I'll look back and be like, wait, I actually kind of wanted that thing. Like I've actually rebought things that I've given away before. So this time I was like, instead of doing that, I'm going to pull some things to give away. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an archive for my closet. So I'm going to have a working closet and an archive. So my working closet is only like 10% of the things that I own. And these are the things that I truly, truly, truly want to wear in this era of my life. And actually the way that I went about that was I found this stylist. Her name is Allison Bornstein. She's like really big on TikTok. And when I came across her, like you guys, I started binging her content like you would not believe. I think there were 3 days where from the moment I woke up until the moment I went to bed, I was just going through her TikToks. I would go on a playlist and watch them just episodically, like one at a time, and go down the entire thing. I have now watched every piece of content that this witch has put out. And I ordered her book and I read it cover to cover. Like I went through my whole Allison Bornstein thing. I actually highly, highly recommend her content. A lot of what's in her book you can get on TikTok. So like if you don't want to buy the book, it's actually like not completely necessary. But one of the things that she's kind of like really famous for is the 3-word method for personal style. And she says that you have to have like 3 adjectives that describe your personal style. And they're often like not like complimentary, and that actually makes the most interesting personal style. And she has like a very specific method of finding your 3 words if you want to do it, or you can just come up with any 3 words if you want, like if you just have them top of mind. But the method that she recommends, if you're like a little bit unsure, and I do recommend doing this method, and then you can always like tweak it after the fact, is first pull everything from your closet that you actually wear all the time. And these aren't the pieces that you want to wear. These don't have to be the pieces that you love. You could hate the fact that you're wearing these things, but pull them. So when I did that, I was like, okay, it's like a lot of like sweats and just like the pajamas from Qantas Airlines, like the Australian Airlines. They give you pajamas if you're in international business, not to brag, but they give you these just like cotton, like long sleeve tee and long pant pajamas that you wear. Like I wear those a lot. In the summer, I'd wear like bike shorts a lot. In the winter, I wear sweats a lot. So pull all the things that you wear all the time. By the way, a lot of these things that I say I wear a lot, I fucking hate. Like I think they're ugly. I think they're not put together. Like it's not reflective of how I want to dress. Nevertheless, pull all the things that you actually wear all the time, look at them and see what they have in common. So when I looked at mine, I was like, okay, what they have in common, and the reason I wear them all the time, even though I fucking hate half of them, is because they're so comfortable. And so that's one of my words. Like it's comfortable or it's functional, but basically like you're not going to catch me being uncomfortable. Like I'm not going to wear pants that have a tight waistband. Like I'm not going to wear anything that feels like it's suffocating and I can't breathe. Like I'm always going to be temperature comfortable no matter what. Like if it's cold, I'm going to need layers on layers on layers. Like even if it doesn't look good, I have to be comfortable. If it's really hot, like you're not going to catch me wearing something heavy where I'm sweating. Like I'm going to be half fucking naked. Like that's just the way that I am. I have to be comfortable. My shoes have to be appropriate for the situation. If I'm walking all over the city, you're not going to catch me in heels. It's just not going to happen. I have to be comfortable. My clothes have to be functional. Like it just is a fact of life for me. And the sooner that I accept this, the more I can work. Okay, so that was my first word. Now for the second word, you want to look at all of the like photos and items and things that you save. So if you do like Pinterest and you save things on Pinterest, I save things on Instagram a lot. Like I make folders on Instagram. All the things like in your like wish list or things that you've hearted on Revolve or whatever it may be. Look at all of those things and find one word for what they have in common. So I looked at them and there were actually a lot of words that like came up for me. Like there was a lot of like classic, chic, elevated, things like that. But ultimately the word I came up with for my second word is tailored, because I think that is the thing that I'm most drawn to. Like I love menswear. I love suits. Like I love like a tailored dress. Like I love like Victoria Beckham type like dresses. I love like the way Meghan Markle dressed when she joined the royal family, or you know what's a big one for me? You know the actress that's in Forrest Gump, Jenny from Forrest Gump. You know how she was in that Netflix show House of Cards? Remember that? That was the first Netflix like original production. I think the very, very first one was Netflix bought Arrested Development and did like a season 4, which was not good. But how good is Arrested Development? Like if you've never seen Arrested Development, that really is like classic. It's like classic cult following comedy show. Like if you're into comedy, I think that is like some of the height of comedy. And honestly, like it was on for 3 seasons, and the last season I think they had it like up against Monday Night Football or something, and like literally no one was watching, and they were getting so desperate and just so reckless, and it was so funny, like breaking the fourth wall and stuff. It's so good. I fucking love that show. You should watch it. Anyway, so I believe Netflix first rebooted that, and then the first actually truly original production that Netflix did was House of Cards. It was with Kevin Spacey. Remember before Kevin Spacey was canceled? We actually have a funny Kevin Spacey story. So I love how like literally we haven't, like, why am I holding these cards in my hand? I haven't even started looking at them. So when that whole Kevin Spacey thing came out, I remember I had a date with this guy that night, and we were like, oh my God, how crazy was that stuff? And he said, like, if you don't remember the Kevin Spacey stuff, basically I think like what came out was that he was like being inappropriate with little boys. And I think like his response was like, hey guys, yeah, so I'm issuing a statement, I'm gay. And everyone's like, that's not an excuse. Like, what are you talking about? A lot of people are gay. In fact, arguably, all of us are at least a little bit gay, but that's not an excuse for essaying little children. Like, and I remember there was this meme of like someone being pulled over and the cop being like, are you aware that you're speeding? And the driver's like, ooh, I'm so sorry, I'm gay. Like, it's like as though this is like an excuse for bad behavior. Anyway, so this guy that I went out on a date with told me that years before all this, he had a friend who worked at a hotel like somewhere in Asia, and Kevin Spacey was staying there, and he called down to the front desk and he said like, hey, I need more towels or something. And the friend, like the guy I went out with on a date like 10 years ago's friend, was the one who took the hotels up to his room. And he said that when he opened the door, there was like a fairly young looking boy child in the room, and not like 2, but like not 18. And the guy was like, what the fuck is this? And left, and he told his friend, who was the guy I went out on a date with. And the guy I went out on a date with was like, honestly, when my friend told me this years ago, I literally didn't believe him. But now that all this came out, obviously, like, he was telling the truth. Okay, so now that we're done with the Kevin Spacey tangent, let's roll back the tangent layers. So, remember Jenny in House of Cards? She had incredible style. Like the way she would dress as like first lady or like whatever, like wife of politician, incredible. Like I love that style. I love blazers. I just love, and I also really like menswear shoes. Like I love loafers and stuff like that. What I even like better are like wingtip type shoes, but for women. Like I fucking love it all. Like I love menswear. So my second word was tailored. And then the third word is like how you want to feel in your clothes. And I went all over the place with this word. Like chic was a front runner and stuff, but then ultimately I didn't go with chic only because I feel like chic can be like a little bit vague. And I use the word luxe. So like I want my clothes to be well fitted. I want them to look like not be awkward proportions. Like I want the materials to be good. Like I just want them to be well made. Like I'd rather have fewer pieces that are higher quality than more pieces that are lower quality. And you know, while I do have some high quality pieces, I also have lots of low quality pieces. So this got me thinking and it kind of changed everything. So once I found my 3 words, I went through my entire closet and I was like looking at pieces and being like, okay, do these fit with my 3 words? Like, for example, if this is like a dress I fucking love, but I know it's really uncomfortable, I'm never going to wear it. Like, I'm just not going to wear it. That's why I'm not wearing it. So like I may have given it away or some things are in the archive, whatever. And I created like this dream closet. I went through my bathroom. Oh my God. I declutter that fucking bathroom. I pulled out 3 tall kitchen bags of garbage from that bathroom of expired products. I went through my kitchen again. I redid the pantry. I redid the ceramics cabinet. I redid the fridge. If you guys haven't seen, I've made an aesthetic fridge that I die for. Now, full disclosure, I do have 2 fridges. So like one drink is more like one fridge is like for drinks and products, things that have labels on them. The aesthetic fridge is beautiful. It's just like fresh produce and condiments that I make and like herbal tinctures that I batch. Nothing in that fridge has a label on it. It's just beautiful colors, vibrant. I redid the pantry and then I just started going ape shit. Like if you guys are familiar with human design, I'm an MG in human design. And something about MGs is we will get into a hobby and go so fucking deep in that hobby and like obsess over it. And then eventually just like be done with it. But yeah, I've been ordering all these like organization things and like, you know, like there's like drink organizers in the fridge and like various types of organizers everywhere in the closets and the bathroom. I mean, yada, yada, yada. Like there's systems, there's all sorts of things. And, you know, I now have like a lot of the cleaning things more automated and systematic. So I know like what I'm doing when and things don't pile up and get overwhelming. You know, we're currently sleeping in the guest room because in the guest room, the mattress is on the floor and it's easy for Sam to get in and out of it. So we're not even like sleeping in the master bedroom anymore. And the guest room has always been like a hellscape as far as like how it's been decorated and stuff. Like it's where I sauna blanket. So that's always out and on the floor. Ozzy has his like standing desk and trackpad in there. Like it's just always been like a gross kind of hellscape. And one day I was like, wait, why am I waking up in this room like every single morning with it looking like this? Absolutely not. Like I'm going to redo this room. So I sold the dresser in that room. I'm going to get new stuff. What I'm really trying to sell is when we were first dating, Ozzy ordered a basketball stand to this apartment as like this kind of inside joke. And we actually were going to set it up. But then like upon looking at it, we're like, I don't think this is going to work. That thing is still sitting in a box. And to make matters worse, every time he comes back from a trip, he puts his luggage tag on it. So it now is not just like a box that's sitting in this room. It's a box that's covered in luggage tags hanging off of it. And honestly, it looks like a creature that came from The Last of Us. Like, remember that mushroom zombie show? That's what it looks like. The Last of Us. That's what I see when I wake up every morning. It is hellish. Like I can't put into words how much I hate it. I want to completely redo that room. I'm actually redoing the studio I'm sitting in right here, right now. You wouldn't know it, but there used to be this big table in the corner and it was like taking up so much space and I was using it as my desk, but like it's not a desk. So I sold that and I'm going to get a proper desk. Like all these things are happening. Anyway, as I've been working through all this stuff, wait, just like one aside, there was a bottle of lemon juice that I pulled out from the kitchen when I was redoing the kitchen. And I was like, that's weird. I haven't bought bottled lemon juice in what feels like 4 million years. It was burgundy. Burgundy. Okay, I don't know what the fuck happened to those lemons over the past 450 years when I've had that bottled lemon juice. It was not okay. It was disgusting. Vile, vile, vile. Anyway, all of this spring cleaning got me thinking about spring cleaning our bodies. And I would imagine that that was probably a big part of what they did in ancient Iran also, although I don't fucking know. Anyway, so I wanted to do an episode. I love how I've been talking like since what feels like the beginning of time, and I haven't even gotten into what today's episode has been about. I feel like we've gone through like world history, fashion, personal style, cleaning, decluttering. Like, what haven't we talked about other than like what we're actually doing here today? Anyway, so I wanted to, like, keeping with the theme of spring cleaning, I wanted to do an episode about cleansing and detoxing your body. Now, before I get into the episode, I want to kind of talk about like the scientificness of it, because I think that one area where maybe like I'm different and my content is different and something that I pride myself on is that like you can trust what I say. Like I'm not like, have you ever been to like a regular Western doctor and there are certain things that you're like, I'm not even going to talk about this with you because like, I just know you're not going to help. Like one thing for me is like rashes, right? I've had this like little like rash type thing. It's like a patch of itchy skin on my top lip, only the left side, for about a year now. If I keep it like constantly lubricated and stuff, the itchiness is okay. But I mean like constantly, like I have to apply stuff to it like many times a day. But if I stop doing that, it gets so fucking itchy, like so itchy that I will draw blood from scratching it. I haven't been to a doctor about it. You know why I haven't been to a doctor about it? Because every single time I've gone to a doctor with any sort of skin issue, they're like, oh, it's eczema. Or like maybe if they're feeling really spicy in the moment, they might say, oh, it's psoriasis. And then they hand you a tube of hydrocortisone cream and send you home. That's not a solution, okay? I'm sorry, but like eczema, not a real disease. It's just a word that doctors use when they don't know what's wrong with you. It's kind of like when they tell you it's an autoimmune condition. They may as well just say, I don't know, and I don't give a shit to find out. So here's a Band-Aid solution and go about your way. And you're like, okay, well, this did nothing for me. I could have bought hydrocortisone cream at the store, as it turns out, you know? So like there are these things where like I just don't trust Western medicine. Now, if I had like cancer, God forbid, I trust the fuck out of Western medicine. You know, like if I need surgery, I trust it a lot. Like there are many situations where I do genuinely trust Western medicine. And on the other hand, there are situations where I like alternative medicine and I like functional health doctors, etc. But also there's a lot of misinformation and wrong information out there. And especially nowadays with the rise of MAHA and, you know, these like very like the wellness to alt-right pipeline stuff, like a lot of like not scientifically proven claims, right? Like put beef tallow all over your skin and, avoid seed oils because they're going to kill you. Like that type of thinking, you know, like you should be smoking cigarettes because nicotine is good for you now. Although I will say nicotine really does have like some health benefits. So I'm not like necessarily clowning on that. It's just like funny to me that all these years like nicotine has been the enemy and now all of a sudden it's something you should do. And that tends to be the case, right? We demonize things and then all of a sudden we're heralding the very same things that we've been demonizing for 40 years. And the truth is like they're neither demonic nor are they the solution. It's just somewhere in the middle. But as a society, we struggle with balance so much. And that's not to say like I struggle with balance too. I'm not saying I'm like a perfectly balanced person. But one thing I really, really do strive for on this podcast is to be accurate. Like I want to be as factually accurate as possible. So I'm always going to do the research. I'm always going to say like, this is something that's scientifically valid. Like it's been proven in research, you know, Western doctors approve of it, whatever. Like this one is not controversial. And then there are times where I highlight things where I'm like, this is alternative medicine. Like this is, you know, big in like ancestral healing. And like there are many ancient cultures that use this practice. It's not been scientifically proven. There's there's anecdotal evidence and, there's evidence in the forms of like cultural use, etc. But like in a hierarchy of evidence, the highest is a meta-analysis of controlled studies. Below that would be like a meta-analysis or a review. I think, by the way, I'm not a scientist. I could have some of this hierarchy of evidence wrong. But like a meta-analysis of like other types of like maybe controlled experiments, but like not double blind. And then like below that might be like a controlled double blind experiment, et cetera, right? Anecdotal evidence is pretty low, but it is something. History of cultural use is something. Like these are forms of evidence. They're not as high as the other forms, but there is something there. And then there are some that just seem like full pseudoscience. They're highly controversial. Anything like that, I left out with one exception of something that is talked about a lot that I just want to highlight why I personally think it's bullshit based on the research that I've done. So yeah, does that make sense what I'm trying to say though? It's like, I want to be that person where it's like, you can believe me, I'm not going to tell you to do something quacky that's not proven by science just because I saw some chick do it on TikTok or because other wellness influencers are talking about it. Like, I don't want that to be me, but I also am not going to be like so limited where I will ignore like ancient wisdom or things that are maybe like more anecdotal, that are more emerging just because they haven't been validated by Western medicine. Like, I just want to be the girl that you can trust. Like, this is the voice that I always wish I had on my wellness journey. As for example, I'm like freaking out being like, should I eat tofu or not tofu or not eat tofu? And there are some people who are like, you should eat 500 grams of protein every 5 minutes to stay healthy. And then there are other people on the other extreme who are like, soy's gonna kill you, protein's the worst, eat an apple that has enough protein for you. Well, neither are really factually true, right? It's just somewhere in the middle. You okay, mama? You okay? Oh, she's getting very excited about this conversation. So yeah, it's just somewhere in the middle, and I'm going to highlight all these things as we go. Now, before we get into the depths of it, before we get in, it's like, how much more are we going to before we get in? We've been beforing for the past 450 hours. I do want to talk a little bit about what the words cleansing and detoxing mean, because quite frankly, I myself was like, are they synonymous? Are they different? Like, what exactly is happening? Oh, and also another thing I want to say is, because I do want this episode to be scientifically valid, it's research heavy and I will be referring to my notes. So keep that in mind. Okay, so cleansing refers to practices aimed at supporting the body's natural detoxification pathways to remove toxins, metabolic waste, and excess substances that may contribute to inflammation or dysfunction. It can include dietary, lifestyle, and supplemental approaches designed to optimize the organs of elimination: liver, kidneys, colon, skin, lungs, and lymphatic system. Detox pathways are the biological processes your body uses to neutralize and eliminate toxins, waste, and excess substances. So we have 6 cleansing organs. They are the liver, kidneys, gut, lymphatic, lungs, and skin. And in functional medicine, most people generally agree that you should cleanse in this order: colon first, then liver, then kidneys, then lymph, then lungs and skin. So we will be talking about them in this order. And just real quick, so cleansing and detoxing are related, but they're not the same. Detoxing refers to the biological process of removing toxins, primarily handled by the liver, kidneys, gut, lymphatic system, lungs, and skin. Your body is always detoxing, whether or not you're actually supporting it. Cleansing refers to intentional practices like dietary changes, fasting, supplements, hydration, sauna, enemas, etc. They're aimed at supporting the body's detox pathways by reducing toxin exposure and improving elimination. So my understanding, if it's correct, is that detoxing is what your body naturally does, and cleansing are the actions that you take to assist your body in detoxing more efficiently. I could be wrong, but I think that's a correct assessment of the situation. Okay, so we're going to start with the gut. Your gut and colon are really, really important for cleansing because they help eliminate toxins, metabolic waste, excess hormones, and harmful microbes through the stool. So a well-functioning gut promotes efficient waste removal and detoxification. A sluggish gut can lead to toxin reabsorption, inflammation, and imbalanced gut bacteria. And how it works is basically the beneficial bacteria in our gut modify and neutralize toxins when it reaches the gut to help reduce their reabsorption. So for example, there are some probiotics, like a probiotic like Lactobacillus rhamnosus, which is like a very common one in probiotic supplements. It binds with heavy metals and mycotoxins, and it prevents their reabsorption. Then soluble fiber from the foods that you eat bind with the toxins, the bile, and the excess hormones, and puts them in the stool, and it carries them out of your body through the stool. Insoluble fiber from the foods that you eat adds bulk to the stool and speeds up transit time to help prevent toxin reabsorption while the toxins are sitting in your poop inside of your colon, basically. So without enough fiber, both kinds of fiber, because you need both the soluble and the insoluble, the toxins can end up back in the bloodstream, right? Because either you're not getting enough soluble fiber, so they're not even binding with the fiber to go into your poop. They just go back into your bloodstream. And without the insoluble fiber, the whole process is going to be so slow. So while it's all sitting in your gut, it's just going to reabsorb through the colon walls. So in order to keep and the reason, by the way, that we're talking about the gut first is because if your gut isn't eliminating well, then none of the other detox is going to work very well, because it's such a big detox organ. It's such a big way of how the toxins literally exit your body that you really need this one flowing well before you do anything else. So to keep the detox running smoothly, you want to eat fiber-rich foods, things like flax, chia, oats, legumes, and raw carrots to bind with the toxins. You want to hydrate really, really well. You want to do at least like 2 liters every day to prevent sluggish bowels. I really recommend doing a lot of coconut water because it's so mineral rich that it'll help prompt peristalsis, which is the contractions of the colon that keep everything moving. If you don't have access to fresh coconut water, and it has to be fresh, so it doesn't have to be out of a literal coconut like I drink it, although I do think that that's best. A raw, unpasteurized, bottled coconut water is okay also. But what's not okay is, okay, hold on one second, guys. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. Our co-host decided she suddenly doesn't want to work anymore. So we had to do a quick pause to put her down. But yeah, I was saying it doesn't have to be like fresh coconut water, like from a whole coconut. It can be bottled raw coconut water, which means it's not like heat treated at all, so the electrolytes and the enzymes are still alive. But what it can't be are those like bottled coconut waters that you're buying on the shelf. Those are pasteurized. Like they have none of the live benefits that like make this whole thing work. It's just sugar water, really. So if you want to like drink it as candy, by all means, like be my guest, but don't have it as like a health food. The other thing that you could do is just add trace mineral drops to your water. But the biggest thing that you have to do is eat really juicy fruits, because drinking water will never be a substitute for eating really juicy fruits when it comes to your general well-being and especially your elimination. You want to eat bitter foods like dandelion greens, arugula, and citrus peel to support bile flow. You want to eat fermented foods and prebiotic fiber to feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut. Just one quick suggestion. One of my fucking favorite things is the mustard leaf kimchi by Goshen Foods. They have it in a vegan. I would imagine they have it in a non-vegan too, but like, just buy the vegan, you know? Like, why, when there's like 2 products that are like almost identical, like why would you not buy the vegan version of it? So I mean, there's like so many other fermented foods out there, but that's just one I want to highlight. It's one of my absolute favorites. You want to move your body daily because exercise stimulates gut motility. Now, as far as those are like the truly scientifically proven things, where we're getting into that, like, so like you can think of it as like green light, yellow light, red light, right? Green light are the truly scientifically proven things. The yellow light are like the alternative science, the like ancestral cultural type things. And then the red light is like the true pseudoscience. So as far as alternative sciences, there's some historical evidence showing that colonics and enemas can be really helpful for detoxing the gut, but it's just lacking broad studies. Now, like you guys know, your girl gets colonics, right? Like you've met Gil. Ooh, okay, wait, I just had an idea of something I could do with Gil, but that's neither here nor there. Let's just move right along from that thought. Now, I said one thing I was going to highlight that I think is likely bullshit. That's parasite cleanses. So you guys have probably heard the story. I'm going to try to make it like the fastest version of me telling the story. But in 2019, my best friend at the time, I think we've called her Penelope in the past on the podcast, she would constantly talk about parasite cleanses and how like obsessed with them she is and how people need to be like doing parasite cleanses like 24/7, not 24/7, but like all the time, like quarterly, if not more often, and that we're all riddled with parasites. And she told me a story about how her like 2 or 3-year-old was like so like he had all these behavioral problems. Like he was like angry all the time and like just like finicky and not well behaved and like irritable and like whatever, just not in a good mood. And she's like, I don't know what to do with him. And then she gave him a parasite cleanse and all of a sudden he was like a completely different kid. And I was like, oh my God, like I would love to be a completely different kid like this bitch over here. Like I'm so irritable all the time. I'm so moody, so grumpy all the time. You're telling me that I can just like take some wormwood capsules and like poop out some parasites and then my whole personality will be different? Like sign a bitch up, you know? And I tried doing it and I got like so sick, and I've tried a couple since then. And ultimately, I've decided that this is fucking bullshit. Like this is bullshit. And I've so much research on my side, but like, I want to highlight this because I feel like every few years there's like a wave of parasite cleanses becoming really trendy. And a lot of wellness influencers have this like weird claim that everyone has parasites and everyone needs some kind of like extreme cleansing protocol. But truthfully, like the science truly does not back this up. So according to the CDC, most people in developed countries do not have parasites. The CDC states that while some parasites like pinworms, or I actually don't know how to pronounce this one, it's Giardia, I think, exist, widespread infections in healthy adults are uncommon and extremely rare in places with clean water. And the symptoms that we hear about of parasites are actually really vague and can have so many other causes like gut dysbiosis. Now, if you have some of these symptoms and you think that you might have a parasite testing exists. Okay, don't let Nancy on Instagram post a photo of a bucket and some supplements, or post a photo of her toilet bowl and be like, oh my God, look at all this crazy thing that came out of me. And you think like, oh, this is going to be the solution to all my problems. I get it. I've been there. I've thought that too. I'm telling you, it's not. It's bullshit. Okay, Nancy, fucking idiot, okay? Nancy never studied shit, okay? Nancy saw some other dumb cunt post something about a parasite cleanse on her social media, and that's where she saw it, and she's like, okay, this is what the people want, and so this is what I'm gonna post about. It's likely fucking bullshit. Now, there was a 2019 study that found that many self-reported quote unquote parasites were actually misidentified plant fibers or gut biofilm. And this happened to me last year when I was doing this like parasite cleanse. And I remember talking to you guys. I was like, oh my God, I like feel so sick, blah, blah. And after a few days, I went and I pooed and I was like, ooh, are those parasites in the toilet? And I was like looking at my poo, which is like fucking disgusting. Let's just rush past that real quick. And I was like, wait, is that this or is it this? Is it this or is it this? And I realized all the things that I thought were parasites were actually just undigested food bits. So I'll tell you what the most common suspects are. One is tomato skins. Another is banana strings. And the last one is mucus and bits of the colon lining from doing the harsh cleanse itself. So these are the things that people are seeing in their toilet bowl and then taking photos of and putting on social media and being like, look at all the worms I passed. No, you didn't, bitch. It's banana strings. Okay. It's banana strings. Same thing with me. Like when I had this thing, like I was like, oh my God, are those like, that's fluke. It's fluke. It's fluke. It's like one of the parasites that all these like fucking Maha types talk about all the time. And then I did some research. It was tomato skins. It was just tomato skins. Okay. Your bitch loves tomatoes. That's all it was. It's just not in keeping with the science. The last thing I want to say on parasite cleanses is a lot of the herbs that they use in these parasite cleanses, like black walnut, wormwood, and clove, they kill the beneficial gut bacteria in your gut, like the things that you take those expensive probiotics for. They kill those along with any potential parasites, which by the way, you probably didn't fucking have to begin with, okay? It is the fastest way to destroy your gut without getting any sort of benefit. You're not going to feel good. You're going to feel really sick, and you're going to have wasted a tremendous amount of money, and you're going to have wasted even more time, because after all this, you're going to have to rebuild your gut bacteria. All of the good work that you did from eating my recipes, gone, zilch, down the toilet with your tomato skins that you think are some kind of bug that was living inside of you. Okay, you guys, when I went and looked at the episode, I decided to split it into 2 parts because not only was it long, but it was also just really dense. And quite frankly, I just thought it would be like really fucking boring to do the whole thing in one go. So we split it into 2 parts. Make sure to tune in next week, because next week I finish my rant on parasites and I move on to the remaining detox organs. So we go through the liver, kidneys, lymphatic system, lungs, and skin. And then the best parts of this episode actually are, first, I give you like a very detailed step-by-step blush cleanse that you can do to really help your body fully detox and just get rid of all of the stuff, and it's something that's gentle, that won't hurt you. It's mostly fully scientifically backed. There are some elements of it that are like more alternative and stuff, but nothing that'll cause you any problems or anything. And then the foods that make you blush segment is really, really good. Really, really good for this episode. So make sure to tune in next week for all of that. And until next week, stay cunty out there.